And welcome back.
Howdy! It's September 20th today, and our topic is Life Isn't a Dance. Marcus Aurelius says, the art of living is more like wrestling than dancing, because an artful life requires being prepared to meet and withstand sudden and unexpected attacks. Prepared to meet and withstand sudden and unexpected attacks. That reminds me of like the concept we've been talking about recently, where it's like don't be fooled. Life is trying to kill you every day.
Yeah.
And we've manufactured our whole world to believe that we're going to fall asleep tonight and there's going to be a tomorrow, there's going to be a next week and a next month. Like, that's such a normal thought to us that we don't question it. It seems abnormal if someone around us dies suddenly because we're like, oh, like, well, she was supposed to have so much more time. And it's like, no, that is not what we have been guaranteed here. And it's really easy to forget that and to slip into this complacency of life should be the same as it was yesterday. And life should be easy and life should not have problems.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I guess like a best example would be with driving, right? People, we all are just like, hey, I'm just gonna get in the car. I'm going somewhere there, and our minds are not on the driving and paying attention, but we're thinking about the thing that we're going to do when we get there, right? And so like we're distracted perhaps, and now because we're distracted, we're not ready for life throwing a 2-ton balls at us in forms of other cars, right? And so we're, and all of a sudden something bad could be potential, not bad, but like, something dramatic could be happening unexpectedly. Something big could be happening unexpectedly because we are, that can happen if we're ready or if we're not ready, but having that, think about that could happen, and being ready for something, or just reminding oneself to be ready, feels like if life throws those big things, it won't be so surprising because we did have those conversations with ourselves saying, dude, get ready. This is not going to be like a piece of cake kind of a thing, this whole thing. This whole thing is not going to be a piece of cake. Parts will be a piece of cake. Parts will be eating shit, ultimately, right? So, yeah. Be ready for the good and bad. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like paying attention.
Paying attention, yeah.
Because, and in order to pay attention, there needs to be intention. I need to intend to pay attention to something specifically. Because I think the part of the reason why we're so distracted and distractible is because we don't actually have a different plan for our time. It's not as if we're sitting there like, okay, now I'm going to think about this and figure this thing out. We're like, oh, I don't really know what to do. And then because we're not clear on that intention, the attention can just go wherever it wants, basically.
Yeah.
And then
kind of directionless.
It's like meandering.
Which might be fine to do it as a exercise, but not. You don't want to be that. You
but
don't
then
want
my
that
intention
to be
is right. Then my intention is to have time for my mind to wander, because that's a very healthy thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm going on a hike to do exactly that, and that is the purpose of this time, and I'm going to enjoy that. And then it's time to think about what we're going to do about dinner. And then it's time to think about like preparing for tomorrow and what do I have on my plate for tomorrow. And then it's time to think about my final things on my to-do list. And then it's time for me to think about my evening routine. And so like there's all of these, and there's small things. It's not like now it's time to think about my taxes. like, yes, that's in there too, but like it's even specific things of now I'm here to brush my teeth and pay attention to my teeth, and did I actually get all of my teeth? Because if I'm sitting here thinking about some meeting for tomorrow or freaking whatever, I will literally like do the bottom half of my mouth and not the top and not know.
Yeah. And you might realize it later, and then you were like, oh, what? Oh, wow, yeah, that was weird.
How many times have I been in the shower and thought to myself, did I shampoo my hair
already? And then people might be like, dude, you're going nuts. No. I'm just thinking about all these things.
I'm not paying attention to the thing I'm supposed to be paying attention to.
It made it super automatic, right, to do that. Yeah. It's good to pay attention to what we're doing. As much as we can, of course. There will be distractions along the way, but let's not live in distraction.
And
let's distraction not be the baseline.
Something that is also interesting and connected to this is Gabor Mate. At some point I heard him talking about not being able to pay attention to what you're presently doing is a symptom of trauma.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I can relate to that, where it's like there's years of me not being able to pay attention and to like specific things in the moment, and I was going to yoga, I was doing meditations, I was doing all of this stuff, and I wasn't really making a dent in my ability. I could maybe pay attention a little bit during yoga or a little bit during meditation, but the benefits of that did not extend outside of that space. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I started processing the psychological trauma that I have that I started to relax a little bit and like give myself permission to just be here and pay attention in this moment. Because before it didn't feel safe. It's like the present doesn't feel safe. And so then the mind is like just going into past shit or future stuff or any kind of stuff.
Attention, it's an interesting thing because I've gotten into trouble for not paying attention. Many times. And I just remember that like it was like I was told to pay attention. You're not paying attention. Pay attention. And it was like a reminder, and it was like almost like a whip, a little bit, like a little whip. Like you're not paying attention, right? And then it's like if I continue to not pay attention, like I would get in really trouble. Like I would get like, okay, let's go talk to the principal.
Yeah. Because
I was not able to pay attention to something, right? Or I wasn't paying attention for some reason. So maybe the first few times I was like, all right, well, I'm trying to pay attention, but it's not working or something, right? And so then I got in trouble, and now that's the trauma.
Yeah, it became trauma at some point.
It becomes trauma to say,
hear people.
I am having trouble paying attention at all on demand when it's requested for 8 hours sitting in a classroom or something.
Yeah, because you're not making the choice yourself. It's not coming from within you. It's being like forced on you, and you're a kid and you don't have the psychological resources to either commit to what they're asking from you or to communicate the barrier that you're experiencing.
And I can see myself like maybe like drawing and getting trouble during a classroom. Let's say there's a class maybe in the 4th grade or something, and I'm like I'm not paying attention because I'm like having trouble with that paying attention thing. So I'm like started drawing something, right? And now the teacher sees this. Now that's a problem. More problems for not paying attention. Constant reminder. You're not paying attention. Hey, pay attention. Hey, I'm talking to you. I go home. I try to understand math or something that, let's say, my dad is teaching me, right? It's hard for me to pay attention to that thing, right? Like for the entire, like I'm paying attention. Okay, I get that. Okay. I'm a little lost. Okay, I guess. I'm a little lost on that. What is it? It's like this. Okay. I still don't get it. I still don't get it. What do you don't get it? Now it's elevated now I'm getting in trouble for not getting the concept when it's being explained to me the first time or something, right? And so now it's this pay attention, I'm paying attention. It gets to the point of like, I'm not understanding, I get maybe in trouble for that. And then that's like, oh my God, I'm getting in trouble. I'm thinking I'm getting in trouble for not understanding. So I'm afraid of not understanding it. And then of course, then I'm not paying attention to it. Therefore, I'm being seen as I'm not paying attention. But I'm afraid of this whole cycle thing, and this is me growing up in the academic environment over there, or over anywhere really, because everyone essentially grew up in exactly this type of environment.
And this is why all of our kids are on ADHD meds.
Well, exactly, right. And then, where I grew up in Slovakia, so, I was, perhaps if I was here now, they would have 100%
here, if you were here now, yeah. I mean, if you were here at that time, it wasn't as common then. But, because...
They told me over there that the remedy for my problem was to try harder.
Yeah, because they didn't get it.
They didn't know either. No, they didn't know. No one told.
Because if they got it, your teacher would have looked at you drawing and been like...
No one kept something from me that I could have understood then. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not blaming anyone for it. I'm just describing of what I've been through and how my trauma was with connected to some of this stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because if there was a remedy over there at that time, they were trying to. I was going therapy. I was doing all kinds of things that there were people around me wanted to help me with my inability to stay focused on this for long periods of time or something.
Right. Yeah. They just didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
Like if they knew what we knew now, a teacher seeing you doodle would maybe even encourage that, because now we know that fidgeting, doodling, otherwise occupying ourselves with like low mental tasks while paying attention to something that somebody wants us to pay attention to that we don't find particularly interesting is a good way of maintaining our attention on it. So that was actually a smart strategy you had to be like, okay, I'm going to doodle here and like I'll get more listening to this if I'm doodling than if I'm sitting here like rocking in my chair, like agonizing in my belly, like, oh, like when is this class going to be over? Like, so you were doing the smart thing, but then they look at it as a sign of disrespect because they don't understand the neurology behind this.
I was maybe doing a smart thing for that time, and then I got in trouble, and then they said, oh, I can't, then they taught me, oh, don't do that. You're going to get in trouble if you draw. So now I'm sitting there. So anything I do, any movement I do, if I start doing this, if I start going through my bag, if I start doing something, I'm gonna get in trouble because that's noticeable. And so very clever little Ali's gonna say, oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna sit there looking like I'm paying attention, but I'm not paying attention. I'm thinking about all kinds of other things, right? I'm not actually, and then here and there I go back in, paying attention. Okay, she's saying this, and out of attention. And what maybe I'll do this, like very hard. There's a lot of thoughts going through it, not a lot of ability to say to those thoughts, hold on guys, please let me pay attention to what's being said here. I need this information. Like that mechanism was not created. I was left with this. You have hundreds of millions of thoughts going through your head about all kinds of millions of things, and there you go to this school and pay attention for 6 hours. And that was rough. That was rough for sure. Yeah, because I was in my head. I was like, oh my god, like I love doing, like I loved being in those spaces. It's like almost like I was almost like inventing or trying to invent something. Like how would this work with that? Like analyzing things that I've learned maybe on the way to school. Right, and it's like, wow, like I would be interested in that while these people are teaching me Slovak grammar, right? So there's conflicting interests there. Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. What is Ryan got for us?
Ryan says, dancing is a popular metaphor for life. One must be limber and agile and go along with the music. One must feel and follow and flow with their partner. But anyone who has tried to do something difficult, where there is competition or an adversary, knows that the dancing metaphor is insufficient. Nobody ever gets up on stage and tries to tackle a dancer. The dancer never gets choked out by a rival. For a wrestler, on the other hand, adversity and the unexpected are part and parcel of what they do. Their sport is a battle, just like life. They are fighting an opponent as well as their own limitations, emotions, and training. Life, like wrestling, requires more than graceful movement. We have to undergo hard training and cultivate an indomitable will to prevail. Philosophy is the steel against which we sharpen that will and strengthen that resolve.
Yeah, I can totally see how like take taekwondo or something, or like some of these martial arts are like so much. That's such a better analogy for it, right? Because you have love there, and you have friendships and deep connections, but you also gonna get choked out. You know what I mean? It's like that is more close to reality than tango, let's say. Not that tango doesn't have some of it. Of course, it has all of that, but yeah, like it doesn't have the you might lose a competition, and that's sad. Yes, but no one stabbed you with their fingers in your throat or something, right? Good stuff. Awesome. Anything else, honey?
Nope, feeling good for today.
Beautiful.
Thanks for tuning in as usual, and we will see you here tomorrow.
I'll